Hi there. Oh my goodness. Technical stuff. I was trying to do this broadcast on Be Live and it set it up. Everything was supposed to happen in advance and nothing happened. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to show up and we will get started. So hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Memorial Day. And let me just check this other one. It never went off. Very weird. But anyway, we are live. I believe we're live. Let me just check. And yeah, so we're here. And I'm looking at my Facebook page. And hopefully I'm live here. Okay, I see Christine is here and reacting. I don't see the video yet. Oh, there I am. Hi, me. Good. Awesome. So I know that things are working. I have a couple of people. Hi, Christine. Yes. I can bring you up on the screen here. This is a very weird platform. It's a lot easier just to pick up a camera, like the iPhone, and just do my Facebook Live. But with this, I'm trying to program things in advance, and it's very, very weird. Hi, Christine. Yeah, I'll just wait and get a few more people here, and we'll be ready to go in just another moment. In the meantime, if you have any questions about relationships, maybe you have a difficult... Hi, Daryl. Nice to see you. If you have any questions about relationships in your lives, yes. Hi. Woohoo. I am here. Thank you. I was wondering where I was there for a few minutes. But yeah, it's really nice to be here, and happy Memorial Day. I was so blessed. I looked outside and there was actually sunshine. It's been pouring here for days. It's been over a week. We've been having nothing but rain with that tropical storm Alberto out in the Gulf. We're on the east coast of Florida, but still we're getting a lot of rain. So if you have any questions about your relationships, this is the time, write them in the... Hi, Stacy. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Yeah. So I think we'll give it another minute. We can hang out a little bit. If you have any questions, post them on the screen, because we are going to be talking about relationships, and they're so essential to our growth. They are, I think, really one of the biggest factors in our growth. And learning how to navigate through some very treacherous waters sometimes in relationships. And especially if you have grown up in kind of a dysfunctional family and you don't know or understand how to navigate relationships, and you're tired of creating the same old patterns again and again. And that happens until you become more aware of what's happening so you can shift that. So, let's get started. It's 6 minutes after. I'm Marbeth Dunn, an energy management specialist. I help highly sensitive and empathic professionals to manage your energy so you can live a happy, peaceful, and prosperous life. And so today, I'll be talking about how to heal your relationships with energy management. And energy management is something that... it's basically an umbrella that covers many interdisciplinary approaches, including energy healing. I've mastered several techniques of energy healing, consciousness expansion, spiritual principles, and yoga. So we have kind of a blend here. I'm an empath and an intuitive and a spiritual teacher, and I have a multidisciplinary approach. So let's talk about relationships. Anybody here have a difficult relationship, or you've had a difficult relationship in your life, something maybe that was very confusing on how to handle it? Anybody anybody experiencing that? Okay, well, I have a feeling you might. I know I have, and it's I really wished at the time that I understood what was happening. And at the end of the training, I'm going to show you how you can score a free 1-hour consult with me. And I'll give you more details about this a little later. And also how to join my World Miracle Peace Experiment, which is about 2/3 of the way through, but it still can be very impactful on you as well as the world. But let's get started. So we all need love, right? Love is the very fabric of the universe. It is the essence of who we are. And empaths, or highly sensitive people, seem to have a different makeup, maybe different needs than other people, more people in the population. I know from my own personal experience that empaths very often attract narcissists and narcissistic relationships, because we are so empathic and feeling into other people's energy field. We want to be so helpful that sometimes it happens to our own detriment. So I want to talk about 3 factors that cause dysfunctional relationships. And we all have them. We all are composed of patterns and information. I'm going to say that again. We're all composed of patterns and information. We appear to be solid. In essence, we're really 3 different levels. We have our physical level, which is very solid. We have the awareness/energetic level, which is the 2nd level. And at the 3rd level, we are pure spirit. And we're going to talk about the 2nd level today, where we are not really these solid bodies, but we're patterns of light and information. And what that means is, if you think of our energy beings, we've been around many lifetimes. And in the process, we have been wounded, we have developed karma, we have develop contracts with different people, and we create different kinds of relationships. And what happens is very often we have, not very often, we have these patterns, and we can't really see what they are. We can see the results of them. Like if we keep attracting the same type of person in a relationship, and maybe they remind you of one of your parents. Maybe, you see this happening, or and we're just going to talk about the relationship aspect, but you're developing, these patterns, and you repeat these patterns, because if you're composed of these patterns and you can't really see what they are, they're going to repeat. So that's one of the reasons that we often have dysfunctional relationships. The other one is that we have past lives with people, and we have to work out this karma, this what goes around comes around, or what ye sow, so shall ye reap. All of these are the laws of karma. And we just keep repeating them and repeating them and repeating them until we become aware enough, or we are able to clear that. And it's not really very difficult to clear past life patterns that can be keeping you stuck in a relationship. And also, once you clear these patterns, these issues, past life issues, ancestral patterns, the relationship can totally shift, because you've changed that particular issue that you needed to work with. Because we're in school here. We are basically here to learn and grow. And relationships, as I said earlier, is one of the best ways to learn and grow. We have 3 levels of relationships. We have relationships with ourselves, and we have relationship with others, and we have a relationship with God, our creator, source, the universe, however you think of this external being, which is not really external, it's also internal. So we have these 3 types of relationships. Now, we can shift these relationships. And I would say the best way to do this, the best place to start, is to start to love yourself. Now, this can be very difficult if you have never been kind to yourself, if you've never allowed yourself to be kind and loving. If you look in the mirror, this is a wonderful technique. Louise Hay always promoted mirror work, and standing and looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I love you, is a very beautiful thing. But very often it's too hard to even do that because you're so self-critical and you've been feeling such negativity about yourself that it can be very difficult to even think about the possibility of loving yourself. So if that's the case, it's one of the best things you can do is step back a little bit and give yourself a little wiggle room and say, I'm willing to love myself. I'm willing to see myself through loving eyes. And when you do that, it's not so intense, and that little willingness allows a shift to occur. So that's an important thing. Another way that we can move through the dysfunctional part of relationships is by forgiving the world. Now, what does it mean to forgive the world? It means to overlook many things, and when you find that people are doing things that you find objectionable, that you find are wrong, beautiful, Daryl. Daryl says, I love me. Beautiful. That's the best place to start for a healthy relationship. So when I say forgiving the world, it's when you start to look through eyes that have a love screen. We're wearing love sunglasses. We've got a love filter on our eyes. And rather than looking critically at everything that we see and finding fault with it or judging it, and that's really hard not to judge, you start to look at things from a place of love and seeing that people may be struggling to be in a certain place, to be either people are coming from a place of love or they're crying for it, they're calling for it. And when we can see that from this higher level, from going up maybe 30,000 feet and looking down from a cloud, we can see that it looks very different from up here. We're much more neutral. We're not likely to be triggered by people's actions. For example, somebody might snub us intentionally or unintentionally, and you might react from a different place when you're down lower on the ground, and you take it personally. You feel a lot. It can bring up a lot of thoughts. Oh, they don't like me. They're intentionally snubbing me. There's something wrong with me. It brings up a lot of thoughts. But when you're up at the 30,000 foot level looking down, you're in a more neutral place. And it's just an event. Maybe they meant to, maybe they didn't mean to. It doesn't matter. You see somebody snubbing you, but you don't react to it. It's just an event and you just move on. And that's what I mean by forgiving. You're seeing things from a neutral place. You're not being triggered. If you find that you're being triggered in any way, well, there's an opportunity to release that. Because when you're coming from a more neutral place, then you are in a more loving place. And as I said, this is who we are. And it's a beautiful place to start with relationships, and you're not bringing your baggage with you. And then the third thing is to bring to bring spirit into all of your relationships. This is really crucial. Years ago, I was in a difficult marriage, and I said that narcissists and empaths seem to have this interactive pattern. I was in one of those patterns, and it was very difficult, and I'd lost my self-esteem. I felt very powerless. It was a very difficult relationship. But when I brought spirit into my relationship, it transformed. And I was pretty shocked. I found myself saying my truth, things that I never would have said. They just came out of my mouth. And I just watched myself expressing this. And it was pretty shocking to me, but it cleared everything. I was guided at one point to leave the relationship, and then I was guided to go back 5 days later, and everything had transformed. Suddenly, I had the power to say, this is not acceptable. I will stay, but only if this changes. And everything changed in that relationship because I brought spirit in. And I've seen this with the people that I work with. I always bring spirit, God, the universe, into my working relationship with my clients, and it really creates miracles. So it's really important to remember that we're not just these physical bodies. We're not human machines. There are aspects to us that are so far beyond our bodies. And really, the body is just a small part of who we are. And does anybody have any questions at this point? Because you just type them on the screen, and I'm here to answer. If you're having any relationship issues, let me know. I'm here for you. So, one of the most important things is that you're safe. So if you are in a relationship that's abusive, get out, safely. Your safety is very, very, very important. Our greatest power is on our spiritual level. And from this place, and we can get to the spiritual level as we start to clear our issues on the physical level. And here on the spiritual level, we're not individuals, we're all one. And we know that we are formless, that we are love, that we are joy, that we are peace. And when you remember that you're not a body, when you cultivate your relationship with Source and access your divine self, you really don't need to worry. Everything flows for you. And it may be that you're not happy in a particular relationship. You can shift that. It's not that difficult, but you have to understand everybody wants love. That's the key. So years ago, I'm engaged to a wonderful man, Harrison Klein. Years ago, things were not going so well in the relationship, and I was in a place where I was finding a lot of fault. But a good friend of mine, who is a relationship coach, said, don't criticize him at all until you can say 10 things that are positive. And at that point, it was really hard for me to think of 10 things that were positive. But I followed her advice, and it wasn't very long before everything shifted, and we have a wonderful relationship. So watch your criticism. don't do it. Really focus on the positive in your partner. Focus on the positive in your children, in your parents. And that's what you compliment. That's what you comment on. People want to be appreciated. They want to be validated. And so it's a really, really important thing. So what are some of the things that we do wrong in relationships? Well, I just mentioned one of them, and that is criticizing our relationship partners, whether it's a child, a spouse, a sibling, a parent, boss. Focus on what you can see that's positive in them, and you can see things begin to shift. There's also the fact that we forget that we have divine helpers, we have angels, we have spirit, we have God, source, the universe. We don't have to do it alone. In fact, all we have to do is ask. We have free choice, but it makes such a big difference if you can just be quiet and just ask, how can I see this differently? How can we attract more love into this relationship? It makes such a huge difference. And again, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. I was hoping this would be a Q&A. I love interaction. I love to work with people. In fact, if you are enjoying this, and I invite you to apply for a 1-hour free consultation with me. I have 3 spots available on my calendar for this week. And this is a short week. And I'd love to meet with you to talk about your relationships, see how we can improve them. And, as an empath and an intuitive, I can actually feel where you're holding any energy issues. And these issues, as I said, can be past life. They can be ancestral. They can be a very, very old pattern. So, if you have the session with me, I can tap in and see what it is, and I can help you release it. This is a work session. This is not a sales pitch, and I'm very good at what I do. So if you would like to have this experience with me, then do it, because it doesn't happen that often, and I would love to have that time with you. So also, I wanted to invite you to join me in my World Miracle Peace Experiment. If you haven't signed up yet, it's a beautiful thing. 7 minutes a day for world peace. And we join together to create a unified field of consciousness. And it's so beautiful. I'm seeing so many people are seeing more peace in their lives because of this. And yeah, we would love to have you join us. I think the more people that join, the more impact we can have on the world, and also the more impact that you can have in your life. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. If you would have any questions, last minute questions, I'm here. And if not, you can always, I'm very approachable. You can message me on Facebook. You can apply for the consult with me, or join the World Peace Experiment. And you just have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Memorial Day. Have fun. I hope you're having a beautiful, sunshiny, wonderful day. Oh, wonderful, Daryl. That's great. Great. Awesome. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Much love.